This is the Key TV Nightly News, which is also on Key Radio 103.3 FM, and I am Jacqueline Curley. Thank you for joining us. Here are the headlines. The Gambia Red Cross Society has launched a new 4-year, €3.8 million EU-funded migration project aimed at improving assistance, protection, and socio-economic opportunities for migrants and returnees. Key money has been enlisted to facilitate the payments. The Gambia's National Assembly, through its Parliamentary Caucus on the Regional Coastal and Marine Partnership, PRCM, has just finished hosting the Extraordinary General Assembly of the Alliance of Local Parliamentarians, an elected representative for the protection of the environment of West African littoral countries, APEL. The World Food Forum Gambia Youth Chapter has been officially launched, marking a significant milestone in advancing youth participation in the country's agri-food transformation. In a case that captured national attention, the Banjul High Court has acquitted and discharged Salifu Keita, a man charged with manslaughter due to insufficient evidence. In international news, in the aftermath of the December 7 failed coup attempt in Benin, regional partners are stepping up diplomatic efforts to ensure democratic stability and security in West African sub-region. Those were the headlines and other news in detail. Thank you for joining us. The Gambia Red Cross Society has launched a new 4-year, €3.8 million EU-funded migration project aimed at improving assistance, protection, and socio-economic opportunities for migrants and returnees. The launch coincided with the opening of the GRCS 2025 General Assembly held in Njambure. Key money has been enlisted to facilitate the payments. Loliam Camara reports.
The quiet island town of Njambure became a hub of optimism on Friday as stakeholders gathered for the official launch of the €3.8 million project dedicated to supporting migrants in vulnerable situations. For many families in the Central River region, where migration is a lived reality, officials say this initiative represents more than funding. It means dignity, second chances, and restored hope. Babukar Singate, the Gambia Red Cross Migration and Displacement Coordinator, gave the background to the project and how it will be rolled out.
So the significance of this project would eventually, seek to address the gaps that exist in terms of, addressing the humanitarian needs of individuals, ensuring that their rights are respected, their dignities are upheld, and as well as ensuring their access to basic services, including health care, mental health and psychosocial support, of course, information to be able to build self-resilience, and as well as ensuring they're able to have opportunities to means of employability, including entrepreneurship and livelihood.
Ibu Fainjai, Secretary General of the Gambia Red Cross Society, said the project comes at a crucial moment as thousands of young people continue to take risky journeys in search of better opportunities. Additionally, he said the project is a national initiative designed to reach people on the move, including returnees and host communities throughout the Gambia.
This project responds with comprehensive principles-based approach. Its core mission is to strengthen access to assistance and foster the socio-economic integration of people on the move who are found in vulnerable situations.
Ana Sanchez, the Spanish delegate for the EU project, praised the Gambian team for its leadership in addressing migration challenges.
Your ability to adapt to global humanitarian challenges, combined with your deep knowledge of the local and national context and the experience of the different partnerships that you have, has opened the door to this important opportunity.
From a regional perspective, the International Federation of the Red Cross, IFRC, highlighted the continued risk facing migrants across West Africa. The president of the Gambia Red Cross Society, Faba Karikale, reminded participants that migration is deeply woven into the Gambian story.
This project will benefit from our experience that we gathered from various migration programs and projects that we have implemented with the support from the Spanish Red Cross and the ICRC and IFRC. These experiences put together will help us provide the best of the best to the people who move.
The governor of the Central River Region, Usman Ba, officially launched the initiative. His remarks highlighted both the struggles and the resilience of communities affected by migration.
This project arrives at a crucial time. Its title, Assistance and Social Support to Migrants in the Gambia, speaks directly to its two core goals: providing urgent humanitarian aid and fostering lasting social cohesion.
In order to ensure transparency and accountability, the Gambia Red Cross Society has partnered with Q Money Mobile Service to facilitate payments. There was an exhibition of homemade products by the volunteers of the GRCS. For the Red Cross, volunteers working across the country, and for migrants who often return home with nothing but hope, this project promises practical help and a pathway to stability. For QTV News, Lolly M. Kamara.
The Gambia's National Assembly, through its Parliamentary Caucus on the Regional Coastal and Marine Partnership, has just finished hosting the Extraordinary General Assembly of the Alliance of Local Parliamentarians and Elected Representatives for the Protection of the Environment of West African Littoral Countries. I was there, and this is my report. The high-level gathering brought together lawmakers, environmental experts and representatives from across the sub-region to discuss strengthened collaboration on coastal protection, environmental governance and the growing threats facing West Africa's littoral zone. Here is Semba Dang, the Vice President of APEL, on the importance of such a convergence to tackle the menace and challenges the sub-region faces along the coastal and marine ecosystem.
Because today all have seen what climate change have attacked the coast. And if we didn't take the lawyers to protect the coast, to protect our countries, they are not good. That we make we have obligation to take laws to protect our coast.
A key highlight of the assembly was the selection of presidents and vice presidents to lead various committees within the organization. These committees are expected to drive APEL's strategic agenda, ensuring stronger coordination, follow up on resolutions, and enhance engagement with national legislatures across member countries. Honorable Sekuba, National Assembly member for Basse constituency, who was newly elected as Vice President of the APEL Caucus Gambia chapter, highlighted the key points discussed during the sessions.
The key point highlighted was the challenges we face, some of this high sea rise, and also the marine and other climate change. And if you look at some of the instruments, and that is the tools or the policies or the ratifications, which they also highlight, because some of the countries, they are yet to sign their agreements and their ratifications, like the BBNJ and others, and other Abidjan Convention and others. So at least Gambia, thank God, we are on the right footing. All those documents or instruments or the treaties, we have already signed them.
The Gambia's role as host was described as timely, given the country's increasing exposure to coastal erosion and the urgent need for joint action to preserve its fragile shoreline. Authorities reiterated the National Assembly's commitment to ensuring that recommendations emerging from the Assembly will be translated into legislative follow-up and community-focused initiatives. Here is Honorable Sekuba addressing that very point.
Is more than timely, because if you look at it's not only Gambia who is facing these challenges, so many countries face these challenges. But the reason why, the main agenda of bringing people together, or NAMs and other local councils together, is for us to voice out the challenges we have faced, and some of them, the challenges, they have overcome their challenges. So maybe the ideas or the means or the policies they use to overcome their challenges, maybe they can share it with their colleagues, so they can also learn from there and also try to address the challenges they are facing in their countries.
Participants discussed strategies for regional cooperation, financing mechanisms, and the establishment of a more coordinated parliamentary response to the environmental challenges confronting the West African littoral zones. The Extraordinary General Assembly also explored ways to strengthen local representation within APEL and enhance the participation of elected officials in long-term environmental governance. Reporting for QTV News, I am Jacqueline Collie. The World Food Forum Gambia Youth Chapter has officially been launched, marking a significant milestone in advancing youth participation in the country's agri-food transformation. The launch brought together policymakers, young agripreneurs, investors and donors to strengthen youth investment in the Gambia's agri-food system. Yafatu Gay reports.
The establishment of the WFF Gambia Youth Chapter signals a new era of youth leadership in agriculture. The platform aims to amplify young voices, promote innovation and create opportunities for emerging entrepreneurs to contribute meaningfully to national food security, climate resilience and agribusiness development. With agriculture employing the majority of the population, stakeholders emphasized that empowering young people is essential for modernizing the sector and unlocking its economic potential. Dr. Mustafa Cisse, representing FAO Gambia, and Carl Frederick Paul, the UN Resident Coordinator, emphasized that youth are essential in transforming the Gambia's food systems. They also highlighted some of the challenges young farmers in the Gambia continue to face.
Agriculture, we all know, is the bedrock of the life and livelihood for many Gambians, feeding our families and anchoring our national economy. Yet, value chain linkages are weakened by the limited support given to young entrepreneurs.
Across the globe, young people are driving innovation, challenging old assumptions, and building solutions that are both practical and visionary.
Throughout the forum, participants examined persistent barriers such as limited access to finance, low adoption to modern technologies, and insufficient market linkages, challenges that continue to constrain agricultural productivity and discourage youth engagement. Despite progress through national initiatives like the Giraffe and the like, speakers underscored the need for sustained investment and stronger public-private partnership to drive long-term transformation. Musa Silla, an agricultural entrepreneur, echoed these concerns and highlighted that young innovators remain eager but unfunded.
The thing I definitely like is the conversation that is happening. So the conversation today is centered around access to finance, you could say. So that's super important, because one of the reasons why I feel like that's important is because it's one of the key reasons why entrepreneurs like myself are struggling.
The WFF Youth Chapter is expected to facilitate knowledge sharing, build capacity, strengthen partnerships and champion youth-informed policy advocacy. David Gomez represented the Ministry of Agriculture.
The government of the Gambia also firmly believes that investing in youth is investing in sustainable and competitiveness of our agricultural sector.
Babukar D. Kohli, Project Director at GAMTech, emphasized that technology hubs must play a leading role in equipping youth with digital entrepreneurial skills to tap into modern agricultural value chains. The launch of the World Food Forum Gambia Youth Chapter stands as a call to collective action, reaffirming that the future of the Gambia's agri-food system depends on meaningful youth inclusion, innovative thinking and sustained investment. Through collaboration and continuous engagement, this initiative aims to build a more resilient, inclusive and future-ready agricultural sector for the country. Reporting for QTV News, this is Yafatu Gay.
We will now go for a commercial break. When we return, we have more national and international news stories. Do stay tuned.
Browse with us. QCell brings you a promo like never before. Get unlimited internet for just $25 Cs. Yes! Recharge $25 Cs and enjoy the convenience of free internet from 1 a.m. to 6 a.m. every day with our Browse with Us promo. With this amazing offer, you can browse, stream, and download all your favorite movies for free. So why wait? Recharge $25 today and enjoy free internet only with QCell between 1 a.m. to 6 a.m. For more information, call customer care on 111. QCell, Senior Bus, we innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
Looking for the perfect place to promote your product or place your advert? Look no further than QTV. We are the premier destination for businesses looking to connect with Gambian audiences and beyond. At QTV, we offer a variety of advertising solutions to suit your needs and budget. With our diverse range of programming, you can be sure that your ad will reach a broad and engaged audience. From our popular news broadcast to our exciting music and entertainment programming, QTV has something for everyone. QTV, the premier destination for advertising in the Gambia. Contact us today and let us help you reach your audience.
Welcome back, and this is QTV News. In a case that captured national attention, the Banjul High Court has acquitted and discharged Salifu Keita, a man charged with manslaughter due to insufficient evidence. Court reporting is by Nicholas Bass of the Voice newspaper, and the narration is by Senabu Chao.
It is frequently remarked that cases proceed slowly through the Gambia's judicial system. However, this case has had a judgment delivered in about 10 months since the incident occurred. Presiding over the case was Justice C.D.K. Jabate, who delivered the ruling last Friday. Keita was accused of causing the death of Abdoulaye Baji in February 2025 during an alleged fight in Kulora village in the West Coast region. Prosecutors argued that during the scuffle, Keita caused the victim to fall and suffer a fatal spinal injury. However, throughout the trial, Keita consistently denied the charge. The prosecution presented 6 witnesses, along with both cautionary and voluntary statements from the accused, as well as a post-mortem report. However, in a no case to answer submission, defense lawyer T.B. Jallo successfully argued that the prosecution failed to establish any credible link between Keita and the act that caused Baji's death. Justice Jabate agreed, stating that the evidence presented could not satisfy the legal threshold required for a manslaughter conviction. In her ruling, she said, and I quote, "No reasonable tribunal, properly directing itself on the law and evidence, can safely convict the accused of manslaughter on the materials before this court." End of quote. The court therefore ordered that Salifu Keita be acquitted and discharged. This ruling brings an end to a case that has stirred public debate and attention for months. For QTV News, I am Senabu Chao.
The Network Against Gender-Based Violence on Friday convened a national forum for knowledge exchange and learning on integrating the needs of persons with disabilities into risk and disaster management interventions. Aissatou Barry reports.
The forum aims to address a critical gap in disaster management frameworks, to ensure persons with disabilities are included in preparedness, risk reduction, and emergency response interventions, and to explore ways to better integrate the needs of persons with disabilities into disaster risk and response efforts. The initiative forms part of ongoing efforts to ensure that disaster response mechanisms in the Gambia become more inclusive, equitable, and supportive of vulnerable groups who often face heightened risk during emergencies. Participants are expected to highlight existing challenges, exchange best practices, and explore innovative approaches to making disaster management systems more accessible and responsive to the needs of persons with disabilities. Falu Sow, the National Coordinator at the Network Against Gender-Based Violence, highlights the importance of the forum.
This national forum is going to discuss especially climate change and how it can lead to disabilities, and how do we ensure that when we are responding to disaster, we ensure that persons with disabilities are not left behind.
Modu Somare, the Principal Social Welfare Officer at the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Welfare emphasized some of the challenges faced by people with disabilities during natural disasters.
Persons with disabilities face heightened vulnerability during disasters. Barriers of information, evacuation, and recovery support put lives at risk. Despite our existing legal policy frameworks, the full integration of disability needs into disaster risk management remains an urgent, unfinished commitment, one that demands our collective actions.
Joy Michael, the Gender and Gender-Based Violence Program Specialist at UNFPA, highlights on some of UNFPA's support to the Gambian government.
Over the past 3 years, our collective actions have strengthened national systems, leadership in disability inclusion. We supported the government in development of national disability policy and the establishment of the National Advisory Council to guide and ensure the implementation of interventions that advance the rights of persons with disability across the country.
His Wasip Mohamed Krubali is the chairman of the Gambia Federation of the Disabled.
For far too long, that in terms of disaster risk reduction and management, persons with disabilities are either not considered or are considered last in terms of evacuation, in terms of placing them in safe environment, in terms of saving them from armed conflict. Persons with disabilities are not considered as important human beings.
By convening this national forum, the Network Against Gender-Based Violence aims to build a collective commitment towards a disaster management system that leaves no one behind. The discussions and recommendations emerging from the event are expected to inform future strategies and reinforce the national agenda for inclusive, right-based disaster risk reduction. Aisa Tubari, QTV News.
Up next is international news. In the aftermath of the December 7th failed coup attempt in Benin, regional partners are stepping up diplomatic efforts to ensure democratic stability and security in West African sub-region. Alde Darame tells us more.
Friday, the foreign ministers of Benin and Nigeria, Olusegun Agaji Bakari and Yusuf Maitama Tugar, held a press conference in Abuja on the sidelines of the ECOWAS Council of Ministers ordinary session. Minister Bakari expressed his government's gratitude for Nigeria's swift military and diplomatic support and praised the resilience of Benin's democratic institutions. Nigeria's foreign minister, Ambassador Yusuf Maitama Tugar, reaffirmed his country's commitment to working with ECOWAS and international partners to counter shared threats and reinforce peace across the region. Meanwhile, Benin's government spokesman, Wilfred Leond Ugubeji, appeared on national TV to give further details about the immediate aftermath of the failed coup. His words are spoken by the official interpreter.
From that moment on, sub-regional cooperation was set in motion under the leadership of ECOWAS and at the request of our country. Nigeria then came to our assistance by carrying out strikes at the end of the day using its military aircraft, which immobilized some of the armored vehicles. This operation was carried out successfully without any loss of life. The last attackers, having seen the preparatory maneuvers, fled the scene. Control of the base was then regained, and a standby force from ECOWAS is currently housed there, made up of Nigerian soldiers who arrived during the night of Sunday to Monday to support the efforts of the Republican Army.
Benin security forces say that since the failed coup, they have uncovered weapons and ammunition in the areas of Togba, Fijirose, and Akogbato, prompting the Republican police to warn civilians not to touch any suspicious items and to report them immediately. President Patrice Talon has appeared in a series of state broadcasts, chairing cabinet meetings and reviewing troops, meant to reassure citizens and reinforce public confidence in the government's stability. Yet more images have also been broadcast of citizens taking to the streets to show their support for the government. So, as the region watches closely, Benin's leadership, with the support from Nigeria and ECOWAS, seeks to turn the page on the failed insurrection and focus on rebuilding trust and security across their country and across West Africa. For QTV News, I am Ade Darame.
Before we end, here's a recap of the headlines. The Gambia Red Cross Society has launched a new 4-year, €3.8 million EU-funded migration project aimed at improving assistance, protection, and socio-economic opportunities for migrants and returnees. Key money has been enlisted to facilitate the payments. The Gambia's National Assembly, through its Parliamentary Caucus on the Regional Coastal and Marine Partnership, has just finished hosting the Extraordinary General Assembly of the Alliance of Local Parliamentarians and Elected Representatives for the Protection of the Environment of West African Littoral Countries, APEL. The World Food Forum Gambia Youth Chapter has been officially launched, marking a significant milestone in advancing youth participation in the country's agri-food transformation. In a case that captured national attention, the Banjul High Court has acquitted and discharged Salifu Keita, a man charged with manslaughter due to insufficient evidence. In international news, in the aftermath of the December 7th failed coup attempt in Benin, regional partners are stepping up diplomatic efforts to ensure democratic stability and security in the West African sub-region. That's all for this bulletin. Join us again tomorrow at 8 p.m. for the Weekend Review with Ade Darame and Mahmoud Mboch. Thanks for watching.